There's a headed your way. Keep your head up. You'll be okay. A beautiful day waiting for you. Just open your eyes. You'll see it's true. Good times, sunshine. Gonna be here in no time now. Bad times, gray skies. Push them all away, turn them upside down. You're gonna break new ground. Turn everything around. You're gonna live your life. There's a beautiful day headed your way. Keep your head up. You'll be okay. Beautiful day waiting for you. Just open your eyes. You'll see it's true. A beautiful day.
Welcome back to the Booga Box live stream. It is Large Project Thursday. We're working on the Chiefs inlay. Making sure everything's going right. Got most of my stuff back to normal after dealing with the all the laser etched tumblers. So giving myself a double check here. I believe everything is working properly. Got my laptop back over here, so it's kind of a little getting used to after being on for a week. Well, a little less. Well, I guess basically a week. I moved it last Thursday. Didn't get started on the tumblers till Friday afternoon into the evening, but I was trying to set up before that. But we're working on the Chiefs end zone inlay, so I'm going to go ahead and get started on that. Get into my peripheral view here. Hope everybody's having a good week. It's kind of nice today to actually not have any laser stuff going. Though I might have another order tomorrow to do, but it'll be a quick, I mean, there's still time, setup time, but it'll be quick and easy for the most part. But now I can actually leave out my chainmail on my desk here and get working on it more. Because I got none of this worked on since last Thursday. I pretty much rolled it up Thursday night after the stream, and it's been sitting there waiting until today. And actually only about an hour and a half ago did I unroll it. I was like, I gotta get this stuff out, gotta get it ready for tonight, so unrolled it, got it out, and it's ready to go. But hopefully this weekend I can get me at least a couple thousand put in. Well, at least 1,000 I'm hoping. That would be 10 rows worth, so. What row are we on here? This is row 47, so we've basically got 4,600 into it so far. So if I have a good weekend, I'm hoping for 1,000. I want to kind of make up some time since I wasn't able to work on it this past week. It was kind of a bummer just looking at it going, oh, nothing's getting done on you. I'm sorry. Yeah, everything was looking good. But I guess Saturday I'll be taking the tumblers up to drop them off. I guess I could have spread out the time a little bit, but it's easier just to get them all done at once. Instead of straggling it out over some days. Well, I mean, it already took several days, but glad to finally get some more chainmail done. Felt good after last night doing some chainmail. Like I said, I very seldom go a day without doing chainmail, at least some. So it was nice to finally do it last night. Felt like things were normal again. But don't forget to check us out if you have a YouTube account or Twitch account. Go over there, give us likes and stuff. If you're on Facebook, make sure to give us a follow and hearts, thumbs ups, whatever's good for you. Help us get onto people's walls. Like I said, we do these Tuesdays, or Mondays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays. I take Tuesdays and Fridays off, and kind of the weekend depending. I could stream this weekend again. Sometimes I do a crazy Saturday one if I'm end up being chain-mailing, and it's like, oh, I might as well just stream it. So we could be back on the weekend, but for sure, Mondays, Wednesdays, Thursdays, all at 7:30 Central Time. Yeah, these next 3 rows are pretty much all the same. And then we start working on the other side of the S once we get there. I will say it was a little weird working with such small rings last night. I haven't done jelly cube in a while too, but couldn't really find anything quickly that I want to do. Well, there's a couple that I wanted to do, but getting the rings and everything out was going to be a problem. I kind of had the rings blocked in, so I was like, well, we'll just have to wait. So next Wednesday we'll actually have a small project. Thinking about doing a couple snowmen. I don't have very many snowmen left. Could do a Christmas tree. I've done several of those. I got some smaller ones that I use for earrings, and then I've got a medium-styled one that I use for pendants and whatnot, necklace style. And then I've got a larger one that I make into a 4-inch round wall hanging. I use my big giant 4-inch round rings, and inside there make the Christmas tree and stretch it out between top and bottom. Got a few extra ideas I want to do with that. Oh man, I put in the wrong ring, dummy. And now I gotta find the... Where are you at? There you are. But I also want to, I've only done it 3 times, I think, making my Santa chainions, but they've all sold. They sell every year, every Christmas season. Though I don't have an event for this season. One of them was canceled, the other one was there, but I didn't get notifications. There's still a possibility of getting into it, but it's coming up in like 2 weeks, so we'll see what happens. But then hopefully everything will straighten up here this next year, and can finally get back to our normal functions per se. It'd be good to finally get into our normal crafting season events, and like I said, I was just getting ready to start expanding into a few other events before everything got crazy, so next year could be a little bit busy. We'll see how things go. I always hope to find some more. I'll have a lot more stuff to show for sure by then. This one should be definitely done before any events next year. Like I said, I'm hoping to have this done by Christmas. Should be able to easily get it done before Christmas, but depends on how much time I can get worked on. Quick check this around. Let me flip this other side over so I can see stuff. Why do you keep popping all that crud up, man? Alright, there's that one. And, alright. I had my setup kind of a little different last couple days, so I had my monitor, my TV as my monitor set up a little differently so I could see certain things on it. Now with the laptop back, I can watch my Facebook posts a lot easier. Though I do find that I like looking the other way. Plus I was facing the mic. But I actually did a little measuring today for changing up my whole setup down here. Trying to decide what I need, because this will fit along the one wall I want to do it. My current setup here, I just kind of want to move it across to another wall. Actually give me a little more room, but it also shortens my room for my computer and desk and printers and all that. So trying to make a decision on how I want to have that all set up and get what I need to get for the most part, so I can do so. Like I said, probably between Christmas and the first week of January, I probably will not be doing a stream. There might be an occasional one, but I'll know more once we get to the mid-December. But I'm gonna shut down so I can get everything moved around, reorganized, get the just everything. I've pretty much got old dead wires I would like to get from behind a bunch of stuff, just because they've been unplugged but couldn't get them out for years. I mean, I've only moved stuff around down here probably 3 times in the 16 years we've been here. So I got kind of a lot of dead stuff behind things. It was like, oh, why mess with it? Oh, I dropped all kinds everywhere. Yeah. So hopefully all that will go smooth enough too, and make all my plans beforehand. I used to be crazy when I was younger and move shit around. Oops. Move stuff around. You know, once a year at least, just to, you know, I was kind of like the cats, how they like it better when you change things up for that first little bit. I always like to kind of, you know, move stuff around. But I mean, this setup has been working good for me for several years. So, I mean, I've added a lot of stuff through the years, but it was able to mold into what I currently had for the most part. But do plan on making some bigger changes here. And hopefully it'll give me a better area to do streaming. It's not the table I want to necessarily get to do streaming on. I want to set that up a different area, but I don't know if that's going to happen anytime soon for sure. But I got this pole, you know, one of the poles that you have in a basement and everything, that is a pain in the butt in a way. I mean, it's nice in a way, but it is right now a pain in the butt with as much chainmail stuff as I currently have. And the other table I added, I can no longer walk around the pole easy. And so I think it'll be better to put my computer desk over in that general area. Plus I got lighting up there that I actually had for the desk, because I had my desk over on this wall at one point when we first moved in. And then it moved after that to a couple different spots, but with everything I currently have, I think it'd be better against this wall with a better setup on the sides. So the only other thing I got to figure out is, if I do all that, I've got one longer desk attachment. There doesn't have a place to put your legs under, because it pulls out in this big filing cabinet. It was from an office. I got 2 of these from an office years and years and years ago, probably 25 years ago. They're nice things. They hold a lot of crud. All, you know, the normal stuff I need to. But something I don't get into very often. I keep most of my files in my desk drawer. So those are more just things I don't need as often, so I'm thinking about moving it somewhere else. And but I'm unsure yet. I've got to still do a couple measurements to see where I'm going to put my 3D printers. I'm kind of wondering if I made a double stacked thing, so I can double, you know, put one on the bottom, one on top, and it can pull out. I could make up a drawer system for that, but we'll see how that plays once we get a little further. Some of it might change even after I start moving. I mean, I can measure and think about it all I want till you actually start moving it into those places. Will it work? Will it not? And I think that's part of the problem over here, because since we are in a basement, the right above where I'm at, is the lowered part of the basement where all the ductwork goes through. I mean, it's all enclosed. It's a finished basement. But the ceiling's definitely lower here, which kind of limits me on some of the things I was trying to do when I first started doing the stream. So I don't really need that for my computer desk area. And like I said, I still got that lighting up there I haven't used since I moved the desk. Because it was shortly after we moved in, we actually put up a wall down here ourselves too. I mean, it was already finished, but we want to kind of proportion things a bit differently than what was currently there, so we put up a wall and put in special lighting for the desk because that's where I wanted my desk to be. Finally use it again. Let me give a quick check around here. Oh, it's like, uh-oh, Facebook's screwed up. No, it's not. It's still there. At least I hope it is. Well, actually, I think now, with everything done, I can hopefully get back to a little crew of chain mailers that do Friday night stuff. I only got to join in a couple, and then I got busy with band stuff, and thought band stuff was over, and then I got still busy with more band stuff. But actually, all the tumblers should have been done. Well, they extended the deadline on it by 12 days, so everything kind of got pushed back 12 days, or I would have been done with it at the end of October. Early November at the latest. But that was all good. I mean, got them more sales, so help those kids get funds. They're going to go to Chicago this year for a concert competition, which I'm going to try to get to myself. I'm not sure yet. I know the dates. I just got to see when everything happens and see if it's something I can get to. I've gone to Chicago several times when I was in band, and we went, well, my oldest, or youngest daughter, when she was a senior, she went to, they didn't have a competition, but they went and played at the Natural Museum, or up there in Chicago, so we traveled up there for a few days so we could, well, again, I got video. That's one reason why I want to go, so I can get the video of the kids, but just kind of have fun too, me and the wife, and hang out, have a little mini vacation in a way. We didn't chaperone, but we were at their playing event. We haven't chaperoned any of our kids' stuff. We kind of wanted to in a way, but we also wanted them to kind of have their own fun without their parents having to be there. I mean, I didn't have mine when I was on my band trips. My parents didn't go, but I would have preferred them not to anyway. So, 3 more, I think. But we'll see what happens. I know that's in first weekend of June, I believe. So, still got a little while to plan it. And see what might be missed. I gotta see what days they are. They always try for more of a weekend, though, because I don't want the kids out of school, but I think they've already will be graduated or into school by then. I'm not sure. School ends a little differently now than I know. I graduated on June 6th. That's all I remember, and then it seemed like for years it was like, boy, they're getting out in April or something, you know, but it was more May. And they keep just changing up the schedule. They went for years being normal, then they went to the block schedule, which they're still on, but I hate block schedule schools, I tell you. More so, I mean, part of it, you know, just the way they do the classes, but I will also say that, at least in the school district, with the school I'm helping out with the block schedule, means you don't have band every day. You know, back in our day, we had band every day. We showed up an hour before school every day. After school once a week, we had a practice, so basically, we called them 7 a.m. School started at 8:15. We called them 7 a.m. So we'd show up at 7. Practice, basically up through first block, first hour. because since band was our first class, we could just stay out, keep practicing. So we got 2 hours practice a day, minimum, and nowadays, their classes are a bit longer. I think they have like an hour and a half, hour, 40-minute classes, but it's every other day they have classes. They got A and B days. I don't know, it's so confusing. Kids went through it when they were in high school, but it drove me nuts. But definitely the bands have suffered in that, because some of the other school districts around here that don't have block schedule and they have band every day, their bands are like a ton better. But I mean, that's what happens when you can do something every day. That's why I like to do chainmail every day. Get a little better. But I mean, they still do what they can do, but definitely a lot different nowadays. I just never understood this block schedule stuff. I mean, I know they put out purposes behind it, but it was like, especially during the wintertime here, there was actually, I don't remember what the full day count was for the oldest when she went through school, but it was pretty similar. But because of snow days, having the block schedule, and certain, especially during the holiday seasons, there was actually one time where the youngest in band class, they didn't have band class for 16 days. Just because of how weekends, snow days, and everything played. It was like, I mean, that's half a month without practicing, together. That's pretty detrimental, at least in my mind. Maybe not in others, but in mine. So I just never quite understood it. Well, now they have so many more classes and stuff, compared to our days where it was just learn the basics. You had a few extras you could take. Mine was always band and wood class. Those were my 2 extras. And then English, reading, or English, I guess reading was part of that. English, math, social studies, civics, whatever they call it now. Now they have even more classes, and we had a couple classes where you had to go to a different school to do stuff, but it seems like they've got so much more of that now, and now you kids can get out of school if they got certain grades and have taken certain classes already. They can get out of school early to go work or do whatever. It's so weird going up to the school nowadays. Back in our day, we had a fairly large parking lot, but there were so many kids that wanted parking passes that, it started with seniority, with seniors, and worked their way down. But you had to get a parking pass, and, you still have to get a parking pass, but that parking lot was stuffed. I mean, every day it was just stuffed. And I've gone up there in the middle of the day, and the parking lot is like half full, if not less. I'm like, it's so strange. And they got more kids, but I guess just not as many are driving nowadays, or have their own cars like we used to. I bought my first car when I was 14 and a half. Took me a couple years of working on it and getting old enough to finally drive it. That was the Mustang. I miss that car. And I got a good deal on it too. I mean, it needed a lot of work to get road ready when we bought it, but I bought it for $900 at the time, so I couldn't complain too much. It was a pretty nice car. After we got it kind of finally going, till I wrecked it. I wish I wouldn't have still gotten rid of it at that point in time, but I was just out of high school when I wrecked it, and nowhere to really put it to work on it after that point, so I definitely miss that car. Alright, row 47's done. I'm going to mark off here. So we're on to row 48. Let's grab some. Work down the other way like a little typewriter. Do 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 do. Well, I guess typewriter goes to do clink, clink. if you're old enough to know what a typewriter is. That was, ow. Sorry. It was maybe a month or so, 2 months ago or so. I was looking for stickers for the mailbox, numbers for it, and I ran across a almost unused address labels for the typewriter. They're, old typewriter sheets, and they were on there. You could put them through your typewriter. I was like, I still have these things. How is that? It was just funny looking. I posted some pictures, and people on the wall were like, yeah, it kind of gives your age away there. If you've ever used a typewriter, you're old. We used to still have one up before we actually bought this place. Somewhere in the move, we lost that typewriter we had. And now it was a mid 80s model, so it was one that plugged in. But growing up till I guess it was probably mid high school, we actually had this old typewriter that was like made in the 30s, and thing kicked butt. I mean, it was one of those ones that had long arms that would come forward when you pushed the key, and you actually had to push the key, and it was a crazy typewriter, but I love that thing. That thing worked like crazy. We actually rigged up our own ribbon because it was so old. It was hard at the time. There's no internet to look up stuff like that. So we got an old ribbon from another unit and kind of made our own little mounts to hold the ribbon in place. But it did the job, and it worked like crazy. I used that, and I guess it would have been my 6th or 7th grade year we actually got our first computer, which was a TRS-80 from Radio Shack, if that doesn't post my age again. It couldn't do a lot, but it had basic word processing. I mean, even when I graduated, the best computers they had in the school were Apple IIe's. So that'll tell you too. I think it was like 2 years after that they started bringing IBMs into the school. Because my wife actually graduated in '91, and she had the first use of IBM systems instead of the Apple IIe's. We used to have like 6 in the school, and they were on little wheelie carts, and you had to go check them out from the library if your class was wanting to use a computer. Which is just crazy now compared to, when my daughter graduated. Both of them, actually. First one, my oldest daughter was in the school as they just started introducing laptops. I think her last 2 years they actually had school-issued laptops. And then the youngest, she had it all 4 years. And now the grandkids actually have, I don't know what version, but basically tablets to do schoolwork on, and it's like just insane to me. But we had typewriting class in middle school. That was one of you had cooking and sewing class for a quarter. You had woods and metal for a quarter. Then you had typing for a quarter. And what was the other one? Maybe it was woods and metal were split. Yeah, wood and metal was split. That's right. Took woods for a quarter and then metal for a quarter. That's when I started liking doing wood stuff. I like metal class too, but I think I'd like it more now than I did then. More so just because, with wood, I can still, I've got a lot of equipment that I can still make stuff out of wood. I don't have any metal, really, equipment. I do have my welder now. I just need to practice more on welding. Get some things so I can play around with, mostly. I've got some things I do want to build out of metal, but then I got to buy the metal too. But it was always a lot more expensive than wood. But anymore, I'm not totally sure. I'm not sure how much. I haven't looked at the prices of much metal. I've gotten small things, but other than coils and rolls of stainless steel or aluminum, copper. That's about all the metal I mess with now is just round wire metal. I would like to find some of the things that John, who shows up on our stream a lot, he comes across some big old thick round metal stuff and does some coiling of those giant things that I'd love to do. I just need more of a place to be able to do it. Hopefully the garage will be this year. I am so hoping. I think the wife's starting to realize that, yeah, I need more room. We've talked about it, but I think now she's starting to really realize how much things I have to move around to do certain things. So hopefully. If it wasn't so expensive, we probably would have already done it, but it's going to be a pretty good chunk of change to do what I'm needing to do to get a garage built out there. But in the long run, I think it would help. I mean, I am getting older, so I don't have a whole lot of years left in me. But it'd be good to have it all. My chainmail is just taking over more, laser stuff taking over a little bit more, and 3D printers taking over a little bit more. We're going for some reds here. A few more. Let me grab a drink real quick. How far are we in? 30 minutes only. Sweet. Last few streams seem to work a little slower, a little bit faster. But yeah, I mean, it felt like I've been here for more than 30 minutes already, so that's good. More time. More time. But I'll probably get some of this worked on tonight too after the stream. If I watch, well, there'll be streams tonight, and we'll watch a Mailworks, and I'll probably work on it while I'm watching Mailworks tonight. Which I do need to add his link over there. But check it out, he's got the printed chainmail items, the shirts and blankets and tops and shoes and all kinds of just cool stuff. Just all kinds of cool stuff. I need to get over there and finish my order this week. I keep going there and keep putting it off because, like I said, I've been waiting on a certain colored shirt that he's going to do, but I'm just like, there's a few other things I want to get to, so let me go ahead. Let's see, I haven't done this in a few days, so hopefully it'll work tonight. We'll see. I don't know if my cap lock is on this thing. Oh, it was there for a second. Where'd it go? Okay. Now I gotta get a little. There we go. There's the link to Mailworks. When I had to move my computer, I needed both. It's a small little laptop, and it's only got 2 USB ports. I needed both of them to hook up to the lasers, and so I had to pull out my mouse little dongle thing, and I can't find it. I don't know where I put it. I know I remember taking it out, and I remember going, okay, I need to put this up so I don't lose it. And so I put it up somewhere, and I lost it. Isn't that how that works? So I still gotta find it, so I have to use the mouse on the laptop itself, and I don't use those. I always plug in something to do it, so it's very odd to use a laptop mouse. It's the only problem I've had today for the most part. Now, only, I did move the computer over last night, but I didn't really, all I did was just move it over, get it plugged in, that was about it. It wasn't until late this afternoon is when I finally opened it back up and going, oh yeah, where's the mouse thingy? Oh crud, I can't remember. I'll run across it here probably tonight or tomorrow though. So I will be doing some Still got some straightening up to do, that's for sure. I got all my equipment cleaned though, so that was good. I got most of that done last night, a little bit more this morning. And then it was just a matter of getting the equipment put back where it needs to go after cleaning it up, because doing that many tumblers, it was quite a bit of a mess. I had a bunch of built up, sooty, burnt up stuff. And I had all the exhaust and everything working, and you could always get a little bit of a smell from it, but when you're in there actually cleaning everything up, it's like, oh god, I can't breathe. I was like, I almost need a respirator to get in here. And it wasn't quite that bad, but quite a bit to clean up, and then being right up in it, definitely different than when you're just working on. And that's the other thing I'm going to look at, is adding a little bit better extraction to my lasers while I make my move to everything. That was one of the other things I want to do. I want to go to a bigger fan exhaust. Right now I'm using a 6-inch fan. I think I want to go to an 8-inch exhaust system. Because I'm going to, right now I've got each laser running their own exhaust, and I'm going to kind of try to work it all into one so that it's just easier and I don't have to hook up different things to different things. It'll all just be one whole setup and off it goes instead of, So that'll be one of the other changes I want to do. But the wife is also thinking about letting me get a bigger laser. It's not the carbon fiber I want, which I'd love to have, but I need a bigger footprint to do my laser work. I think, everything I've been doing with it's definitely over the last 6 years now that I think I could use an upgrade, and couple of, couple gooder things. There are definitely a couple better things. I mean, my current laser, I've completely modded it through the years, trying to make it better. It does a good job, don't get me wrong. And I would still keep it and still use it even if I got another laser. But I could do bigger things and then have the smaller one set up for certain things. Could be like my rotary system, and then I could use the diode lasers and do their own thing too, and a lot less changing around. So I'll be looking at those. Prices have gone up on them though like crazy, like about everything else. So it's like, should I just do it now? Should I try to wait? Because I did wait for probably 3 years to finally get my first laser, just because when I first was watching them, the prices were going down, and by the time I got to the point where I was like, I want to get it, prices were going crazily back up again. And so I put it off for probably a good year and a half before I started seeing them slowly coming down in price, and it was probably about 6 months after that I finally made the purchase. And like I said, it's been a good one. I mean, I've replaced the tube in it because they won't last forever. But really, I mean, some people don't have them last for that long anyway. But I normally get about a year and a half, 2 years out of a tube, depending on how much work I'm doing. The more work you do, the more use you get on the tubes. So, and bigger machine would be bigger cost every year for replacing tubes, but if I could do more stuff in a timely fashion, then that would help all that. So we'll see how that goes too. That'll be another after Christmas plundering if possible. Let's do a quick check around. Everything's going good. 0.2%. Sweet. The internet's been good to me the last couple weeks for sure. Finally. It's like every time I really consider changing services, everything starts working out great. I don't have a problem. I'll go for a month and a half with no issues, and so I don't even think about changing service providers. And then all of a sudden it'll go to crap again for 2 or 3 weeks, and I start looking and going, okay, maybe it's finally time to do it. And then it gets better. I think I'm on my third coaster top right now of going good for the year. I notice it more now that I do streaming, because before, if you're just doing normal laptop or, you know, desktop stuff, you don't do gaming all that much. So I know the son, he complained about gaming on occasion about the speeds, but with what I do the internet with, sometimes I wouldn't notice little hiccups. Because when I even do streaming, I just stream off of our local hard drive streaming for all the movies. You know, all the DVDs just get converted. And what was that? Oh, she jumped up on a table over there. But you know, the wife, she does a lot of the Netflix, Hulu stuff. I'm not, you know. I'll watch some new stuff on occasion here or there, but most of the time all the DVDs I bought I've converted, so that's what I end up spending most of my time watching. On occasion I will do the Netflix, but I'll just watch my Doctor Who's over and over and over again. Alright, on to some greens. Let's get the reds out of the way. Get some more green, a few white when we need them. As long as I can remember when I make my switch. Where are we at? 41 minutes. That's only been 10 more minutes. So we can get this row done. Probably get 3 rows done during the stream tonight, I'm guessing. Normally, like I said, it takes me about 22 to 25 minutes to do a row off stream. A little bit longer on stream. Just because I'm talking, looking around, jibber jabbering. And each ring takes a little bit longer because like I said, when I'm working further away like this to make sure my closures are good, it takes a little longer per closure. Then when I'm not working on a stream where I can have it kind of right up in my lap, and I could do it that way still, but then my head would be blocking most of everything, at least with the current setup. That's one of the other things I'm going to be looking at, different mounts for the cameras, and I'll have more actual room because I won't have that part of the ceiling that's come down, you know, for all the piping of the house and whatnot. I'll have, you know, as high as the basement ceiling goes. It's not as high as the normal rooms anyway, but you know, I don't know though. Eventually, if the kids move out and we end up having the house to ourselves, I might have all my chainmail here, but I could have another setup for doing a stream in another room. In a way, though, I'd hate that because all my stuff's right here. I'd have to take it to it. About the only downfall of even the other setup I'm thinking about doing on the other half of the basement with a different table is I just have to carry all my stuff over to it to do a stream. Other than basically where I'm streaming right here, it's normally messier. Which, I don't know, you can kind of see a bit of a ring mess here, but everything just gets done here. That's where I do all my work. This is basically camera over one of the benches. I got 2 of these same benches side by side. The other side I'll work on too. If I got multiple projects going, if I got a couple different orders going and whatnot, I can work on either side of the bench. Slide to the left and go work on that, or slide back over here. Which is kind of nice in a way, but other times I will, you know, I find I move a lot of stuff out of the way from doing a stream from here to that side, and then it starts getting a little bit of a mess, and I have to straighten it up once a week. Because it's like setting up for a stream, I just got to get stuff out of the way. Move it, move it, move it. So in a way, it'd be nice to have a dedicated stream spot, but I'd have to take stuff to it, but it would be less messy. Yeah, and even as it is now, I guess, you know, There are sometimes I'll pull out stuff that I can show that I do have sitting over beside me, but if I was to have a separate stream area, I probably would have a lot less stuff sitting in there to show. But maybe more too, I guess, because then I could specifically have some, items that we take to events that I could pull out, I guess. And they'd be more just there all the time. I don't know, there's pluses and minuses to about anything in life, I guess. If everything only had pluses, I don't know what that would be, other than doing chainmail. But again, I guess it does have its minuses too. Gotta buy everything, it's not free. That's a big minus, right? Yeah, so I always thought for years, I was like, I'd just like to go live in the storage area of TRL. And just whenever I need something, it's just there. I could go walk down an aisle, grab it, start doing stuff. I'm sure they wouldn't like it, but that'd be the best. I mean, it would be so cool to be able to just do stuff in there, just because you could just go grab what you needed, get it going. What are you doing in here, moth? Cat must open the door. Get off me. Go away. It's one of those weird little moths that can't make up their mind on which way they want to fly. They're almost as annoying as the big ones that are the bomber moths, as I call them, the big giant things that... Okay, I didn't even... That was the strangest break I've ever had in a ring. It was perfectly fine. I gotta look at this. I didn't even bend it and it broke. And it had a cut. I could see the cut marks halfway through on the other side too, so. Because it was perfectly round until I picked it up and I went to grab it to open it and it just broke in half on its own. That was strange. I've never had that happen in all these years. Go away, you stupid thing. You don't want me to grab you, because I'll squish you. Just move out of the way and we'll be fine. I'm sure you'll find a cobweb or a corner someplace or the light fixture and get too hot and die on your own. It's amazing how many, you don't see many bugs in your house per se. I mean, they get in here, but it's always funny when you go to change a light bulb and you take out the cover to the light fixture and all the dead bugs that are in it. It's just like, holy crap. I didn't notice that. And then there was one time, because I mean, I don't change them nearly as often now because we use LED light bulbs everywhere. So the light bulbs don't go out nearly as often. So when I go to find one now to change out one, it's just, you don't realize how much dead stuff is up in it till you have to get up there into it. And when you used to have to change light bulbs all the time, you're cleaning it out a couple times a year to change a light bulb. And there are some places in this house I haven't actually changed a light bulb in like 6-7 years so far. Once I started, when we first moved in, we were using the newer style squiggly, curly Q things. I don't know what they were called. I hated those light bulbs. I really, really hated them. It took so long to warm up to get to the full brightness. I mean, LEDs have a little bit of that. They do get a little bit brighter, but they come on immediately. That was one of the things that drove me nuts with those little piggy tail ones. Was you go to flip on a switch and you flip, and then the light starts slowly coming on. There was always that delay, and it drove me nuts. And so when I started seeing LEDs, I started buying them. Bought them kind of early and kind of expensive. I had some of those kind of started going out, but once, they've gotten much better through the years. So I'm trying to, I don't even think we have, actually the front outdoor porch light, I have an old incandescent in it. I replace it whenever it needs to be, but I bought a package of 100 watts. I think I had 16 of them before you couldn't buy the 100 watts anymore, so that's the only place I'll use the 100 watts out on the front porch, because I've tried to put some others in there and none of them are bright enough without having to go to a different fixture with more light bulbs in it. So that's the only place I use. I use the LEDs on the back. Actually, in the floodlights I use the LEDs, and they've actually done pretty good. I was using incandescents till I just had to make the switch here a few months ago. Not quite as bright, but plenty good enough, and you know, hopefully I don't have to keep changing them out. That was the thing with the incandescent floodlights. Boy, they just seemed to go out after 6-8 months. Drove me insane. But I do still have one other light bulb. Now, it's not in a fixture, but I've had this light bulb for like 20 some odd years now. I got it. It was actually in the house, in our townhouse, when we bought our townhouse years and years and years ago. Before we bought this house, we lived there for about 10 years. And they replaced the light bulb in the basement once. Maintenance did. And when we first moved in there, and all the other light bulbs throughout the house I had to replace while we lived there. But this one, it was over the washer and dryer. It was on all the time. It wasn't super bright. It's only a 60 watter. But it just never would die. And it was probably about a year and a half, 2 years before we decided to buy our own house. I just took it out one day to look at it, because it wasn't a frosted bulb. It was just a clear glass bulb. And I was looking at it, and I noticed, you know, most time when you buy a light bulb, they're 120 volt, you know, 110 volt, whatever, rated 60 watt light bulb. But I noticed on this bulb it was rated at 130 volts. And I'm like, okay, that's a little strange. It's a 130 volt rated 60 watt light bulb. And that thing lasted for years, and when we moved in, I took it with us. When we moved in and bought our house, I took that light bulb. I put another one in there. I didn't like take all light bulbs and take off. Well, everything had light bulbs in them, but I put a different one in it. And for the first, let me mark that row off. For the first, I want to say probably 4 years we lived here, I actually had it in a floor lamp that I used in the basement, and never replaced it for those 4 years. And then that's when I started getting more and more of the LEDs, and I finally decided to go ahead and pull it out, because it was like, oh, I'm getting all these LED ones, and it put off some heat like most iridescent style would. And it was a summer where we were having an air conditioner problem, so I ended up pulling it out, putting an LED in it, and haven't used it since, but I still have that light bulb. That thing kicked and kicked, and I mean, it was literally on for 8 years straight, never turned off in the basement over there in the townhouses. That light bulb would just never die. It's like, well, I'm going to keep it as long as I can. It's kind of one of those oddity things. That's kind of like, I have this, that reminds me, I will have to move some of that stuff if I do move stuff. Over my desk, currently, I've got a display box area that holds, you know, just little knickknacks and stuff like that. But it was, I think, probably 5 years ago now. We had a storm early spring one year, maybe a little late spring, because at the time we had dandelions. You know, they'd come up and get their little puff balls on them and all that. But after a storm, I mean, it was a real windy storm. They moved through. It tore down some branches and stuff, and afterwards we were outside. I was walking up the driveway to the front of the house, and my daughter was with me. My youngest was at the time with me, and she was still in middle school, so yeah, this is a good 6-7 years ago. Walking up to the thing, all the dandelions that were in the yard were bare because the wind, you know, was crazy and blew them all over. But halfway up the driveway, I come to a dandelion top that's all flowered up. Not with the flower, but, you know, a little puff ball thing. And but it wasn't connected to anything. It was just the top had blown off of the stem, and this thing was sitting in the middle of the driveway. So I picked it up, and I was just gonna, I was gonna mess with the youngest, the daughter, and so I went to blow it at her, and I started blowing, and none of the things came off. The head of it, and I was like, well, that was strange. So then I started blowing harder, and none of them would blow off. I started shaking the crap out of it, and none of them would fall off. It was like the sturdiest dandelion puffball I'd ever seen. I actually saved it, and I still have it in my little display case up there. I haven't done it in probably 2 years now, but for the first couple years, I'd pull it down and shake it and try to get all the little puffball seeds come off of it, and nothing. Like I said, I haven't done it the last couple years, but I mean, I'm in a way I don't want to, because it looks like if it had a stem in good shape, it would look like it was a perfectly viable growing dandelion. I mean, it's still a perfect puffball. After all these years, it hasn't changed shape. It hadn't wilted. It's like petrified in a way now. I don't know. It's the strangest puffball dandelion I've ever seen. Some of those little, like I said, the little oddity things that I keep around. Trying to think of what. Oh, right beside it is. This was probably 4 years ago. I do some RC racing. I used to race RC cars back in the day. Now I do it kind of on occasion. I still have RC cars, and it was probably coming up on 3 years ago now. That's the last time I raced. My youngest went with me. She was just into high school. She went with me one night up to this new track, and after racing, it was a dirt oval race. You clean up your tires, so you got dirt and kind of muddish in a way up in your tires. You got to clean up all your treads and all that after every race. And so when I took it and was cleaning off all the dirt and stuff off the race car, daughter's there with me, and so I end up with this pile of dirt mud, and she forms it into a square block and made it into a mud dice. So it's a square thing, and she's got holes on the sides pushed in for dice numbers and whatnot. And she had fun with it while I was doing my racing and stuff, but I ended up keeping it. Got a few little cracks as it dried, but it's still a hard little dice thing, dice dirt ball thing. I've got it sitting up with my forever lasting dandelion. Let's see here. Where are we at here? Not quite an hour, coming up on an hour, so that's cool. Good. We'll finish up this line, and then we'll call it quits, I think. Make sure I'm on the right one. This is row 49. This is the last one that is the same as above, so that'll work out good. We'll finish up this line, and then we'll call it done for tonight. Definitely get over our hour. Like I said, a minimum I like to do is an hour. Try to go to an hour and a half if I've got something enough to do, and if I'm feeling up to it. Most time, though, I cut them a little short if I got other plans I needed to do stuff, and that's what I did Monday and Wednesday. I did an hour and planned on shutting off after an hour because I was working on tumblers, but I don't have that tonight, so we'll get this whole row finished up, and whenever it's done, it's done. That'll give us 300 rings for the stream in under an hour and a half, so it's not too bad. Could be better. I'm going to grab a drink, though. Well, not seeing any posts anywhere, but again, I do want to thank everybody. If you watch this live or you dropping in and just hanging out, it's all great to have you whenever you can. And if you're even watching them later, not live, you can still make comments on any of the videos. I'll see new updates on them and can go back and comment myself to you. Or you can send me private messages, whatever works for you. more than happy and to do what I can help chainmailers. I'm by no means the expert chainmailer, but I know a good chunk of stuff, but nowhere near where I'd love to be. But some things I know more about than others, but I know others that I could put you in touch with to help you out. If it's something that I'm not as comfortable with and you want more professional into certain weave or whatever, you know, I know quite a few of them out there. There's a lot of good chainmailers out there that I don't like to say that I'm as good as them because I know I'm not, but I know I'm better than what I say. I hate to, sounds a little cocky in a way, but there are plenty out there that are just awesome people all around. So if you're into chainmail, I'm sure you probably know a lot of the same people. If you've followed any of the same groups and whatnot, but then if you're not into chainmail and wanting to get into it, always, you know, contact me. I'll help you out getting learning what you need to do to get into chainmail. If you just happen to come across us and going, hey, what's he doing? And I'm more than willing to custom make anything that you would like in chainmail. I'm trying everything I can, and that's what I like hearing what people would like to see, because it gives me more ideas on stuff I can do that I haven't seen myself. I like kind of playing around and figuring things out. Or if you just got like I always say, if you got an idea of what I should do on the stream and stuff like that, give me a shout out. Give me the idea. Be a good time to get those ideas so that when I make the change up, I can include that in the change up. I know, like I said, during that change up, I do plan on going to having a camera on myself. I hate that, but it might feel a little more personal to people that they can see me chainmailing. I just don't want to, you know, my whole thing about doing the stream is to show this chainmailing itself, you know. To me, showing a camera on myself wasn't a priority. It's like, I just want to show the chainmail that I'm building. So, but I do plan on changing that up. I don't know if I'll use the same amount of cameras or what yet, but a lot of that will change once I actually get the full setup moved, and hoping to get a background set up. That was part of the other thing. There's no way of using a background right now, and that's part of why I don't do a stream on my head, because otherwise there's just, you know, shelving and laser work and stuff behind me that, you know, rather just, you know, not having my stream per se. So once I make the change, I'll have a place where I can put up a background, which will be nice. What I'm going to use for the background, I don't know yet. I do have bigger black, white, and a green screen backgrounds that I have for my photography stuff, but I don't know, you know, black, white's kind of plain. I could do the green and then try to do something else, but to be honest with you, that might be a little weird, because I will say that, you know, I've talked about it before, I have a bunch of band shirts through the years. And my youngest went to a school whose colors were green and black. So I have a lot of green shirts. So I don't know, maybe that'd be kind of funny to have the headless, or I guess I wouldn't be headless, I'd be the bodiless chainmailer. You'd be looking at me in just a talking head and hands, because my green shirt would be blocking out everything. I don't know, actually that sounds kind of funny now that I'm thinking about it. That would be kind of weird to have somebody come to the stream and it's like a floating head and arms doing chainmail. Oh boy. I don't know, that's getting me to wonder if maybe I should use the green screen. I'd have to figure out how to use it in video format. I've used it a few times doing some pictures, and it hadn't done too bad. The biggest thing is you got to have good lighting. To use a green screen, you have to use more lighting than what's necessary, because if you start getting shadows on your green screen, that can throw off what's getting displayed. So I mean, there's an involvement in it. I do know that You know, I don't know the whole details, but I have looked it up enough to know that there's going to be some things that have to do, but I don't know, that would be kind of cool now that I think about it. The floating head chain mailer. He has no body. How's he chain mailing? Oh, that would be funny. I don't know, that just makes me want to do a test setup now and see if I could actually get that to work. But I guess I would. I'm trying to think of something I can use in the background. I know Sean over there at Mailworks during his streams, which I put the link up there. Don't forget to go over and give him a like and all that. He uses one of his tapestry printed chainmails as his background, which I would love to probably kind of do in a way too. I need to ask him if he'd be okay if I was to get one. Could I use it as a background if I needed another background if I don't decide to use the green screen now? Or I could play it up where we pull out the green screen once a week or something. Have two different backgrounds, and we'll have floating head guy on one night, and the rest of the night's normal. Oh boy, that'd be funny. Now I'm just thinking I could get a long green sleeve shirt, so then I'd just be hands instead of arms and hands. And then, so many thoughts now. Silliness thoughts that really aren't needed, but it would be kind of cool in a way. I don't know if anybody's here to listen to this, but if you listen later, tell me what you think about the floating head chainmailing guy. How would that work for you? Gotta get a drink. Where are we at here? Hour and 5 minutes, so sweet. So we got probably 10-ish more minutes, 12-ish to finish this up where we're at now, probably. As long as I don't have too many issues. So we'll finish up. This is actually the last line, then this next line starts making some changes on the back side of the S. I think it's going to be the... I'm looking at the picture. It's probably... No, that bottom continues out. So the only part that's changing has got to be the inside of the S where it comes back up over here. That's got to be that part. That'd be the only change. So starting to get there. I'll be glad to finally get the S done, then it'll actually look like something. Doesn't look like much of the S is there right now, but there's more of it there than what meets the eye. Once it gets just a little bit more, then you'll start seeing it kind of finally fill out. It's kind of like watching a laser too. If you ever, there's some time-lapse laser stuff on YouTube and stuff. You should check out some of those. It's kind of cool to watch a laser and in a time lapse how it works, and basically just line after line, kind of the same thing as a 3D printer in a way. But it's looking like nothing because you're doing this part, then this part, and this part, and then it all of a sudden when it finally gets into the end, it all just kind of comes together real quickly. I guess it depends on which way you're going too, because if this S was turned the other way, we'd be working top to bottom, and you'd be able to see it more than basically working from the back side down, and like we are here, working the letters backwards. So, and then working it this way compared to sideways, because this is the way it will hang, is this way, and it'll be longer than it is wide by quite a bit. I'm not sure if I'll actually be able to get a good picture of it on the stream because it will be so long. Because I mean, I'm going to be to the point here soon that I'm going to start folding over the top as I'm working on it, because we're going to be too long on the table, and we're not even done with the first letter yet. So you can kind of picture it. You know, it's going to have some length to it. It's 100 wide by 200 and something long, but long wise is always longer because of how weave works. If you try to make a piece of square chainmail, you're going to have a different count from top to bottom, or your top side compared to your sides. they won't match up. If you try to do 100 by 100, it's not going to be a square piece. Now, part of that would depend on the size rings you're using, I will say that. At least with these size rings, 1/4 inch, 16 gauge, it won't be square. 3/16, I believe, comes out much more squarer. At least when I did the W inlay that I did for the old band director, that's how that one came out. It came out more square. Now, I don't remember the counts, and I know they weren't even. I will say that. I know they were a lot closer. Even though it's 100 wide, it's going to be 200 long. It's going to look much longer than it does wide. And we've shown the picture before. I'll show the picture again here before we close out. I guess I did forget to show it before we started the stream, or before I guess we wouldn't have seen it before the stream. When we first started the stream at the beginning, I didn't show it. That's what I meant to say. Yeah, I guess it'd be kind of hard to catch things when I'm not streaming, huh? Unless you're all spying on me somehow. Alrighty, I need some more reds now. Only a few more. Getting close. About 30-ish rings left, probably. Roughly 35. Right in there. Quick flips around. Everything's looking good. Hopefully the background music is picking up decent enough for y'all. I haven't really... I've watched my streams, but every time I'm watching it, it's more just playing, and I'm listening to it, and I'm not really listening to the background. I'm listening to myself talk. Sometimes it gets a little loud, though. I'm normally judging how loud my volume is by looking at the little graphical audio, colors as they move up their graph thing. Green, yellow, red type. The mixer. It's normally how I tell how loud things are. Probably, I guess that's one thing I do need to test. With my computer system, I always have my volumes weird. Compared to probably what most people do. I have my speaker system separate that can be turned up louder, so when I'm actually using the controller on the computer, it's very low. I'm hearing things perfectly fine when I'm reading about 10. And I'm like my wife's computer, to hear things that normal way. Now it uses normal speakers for a computer. It's got to be in the 35 to 50 range to have just normal audio, so I have to kind of keep that in mind, especially when I'm doing band video, because I've made some videos that were really soft sounding to everybody else, but to me they sounded fine, but it's because of the setups that I have. Alright, well, that was all the reds, I guess. I put those back up. A little bit of green, a little bit of white, and this row will be done. It'd be nice to get 3 rows done tonight. Well, hopefully actually I'll get up to 5 at least. I think I'm going to probably get a little bit more time in, because I probably will be up a little late. I got up late this morning again. So I have a feeling I'm probably going to be up a little later tonight, trying to get tired, so I'll probably have more time to get in a couple more rows at least. Because I don't plan on doing a whole lot of do the cat stuff. I got most of the house straightened up last night and this morning again. Got the kitchen caught back up, got laundry caught back up. Because basically I didn't do any of that for 5 days. 4.5 days as I was doing the tumblers. I talked about it a little bit last night. It ended up about 67, 68 hours from Friday to Tuesday. Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, yeah. I did do stuff Wednesday, which was yesterday, but really it was extras and nothing, basically the order was done, but I still had the laser up, so I was doing some other things with the laser. So, but yeah, I put in quite a few hours in those few days, but it's all done. It's all good. I don't mind doing it though. Like I said, it's helped raise money for the band kids. I want to see the band do well. I want the kids to have a good time. I enjoyed my band years back then. That's why I kind of do what I'm doing now, just to help them out, because, you know, I had fun then. Many things that I've done, I wish we would have kind of been able to do then. We did have our band director, she did do VHS videos, and then offered to have them, you know, certain things could be, I mean, you couldn't press a lot onto a VHS per se, but so there was a couple different, you know, she'd offer up certain games or competitions that were recorded, which was nice, but it was VHS, so I think it was probably 4 or 5 years after I graduated. Pretty much all the tapes were getting toast, just because I'd watch them here and there, but, you know, it didn't take much for a VHS tape to go bad, for the kind of, you know, if it wasn't kept in a perfect environment, if it ever got too hot, it would distort things. The more you played it, it got stretched out. Kind of like a audio tape too, because she used to offer up the audio tape of concerts. If you wanted it, we'd bring in a blank tape and she'd do a copy for us. And so that was kind of cool, and that's what, you know, when my daughters got into band, nobody was doing any video, nobody was doing any audio. It was like, this is kind of, you know, we used the video all the time. She would tape us, and we'd watch it, so everybody could watch where they were from a taller angle, and it helped us improve, knowing where our lines were messed up and how to fix it and stuff like that. And none of the bands were doing that, and it was like, you know, maybe I can just do it and help them out. If they want to use it, they can, and pretty much did. I mean, it was part of actually their class for band. My youngest in band, teacher, director, part of their assignments after an event was to watch the video that I posted to Facebook or to YouTube, and where they could improve what they seen wrong with that show and stuff. That was kind of one of their Monday lessons, was to watch the video I made for them. So they started using it. I don't know if they do that anymore, since I haven't done that for them, but, and I'm not sure currently what the current band director is doing with the band I help out. Other than I post them, I don't know if they've got a class project they do, as I don't have a kid in the class, so I know they get watched, and I know I have parents, and many of the kids thank me, so that's all I know, and that's all good enough for me. So, 3 more rings and we'll be done with this row. And kind of give it a quick stretch. And we'll give it a look-see. Flip over. It's looking good. I'm happy. Once I start getting next 2 rows, I think I'll start being a little more happy with it, with having the S starting to fill out more than what looks like a 7 right now. Or a backwards 7. I don't know, it doesn't, upside down L or something. Doesn't have a shape to it. I mean, I can kind of tell, I know what it's going to be, so I can kind of see it, but when I think about it outside that. Alright, so where are we at here in our time wise? Hour 17 minutes. Working good so far. So this is where we're at. Let me see if I can, won't be able to do this, like I said, too much longer, before we're going to run out of room on the table here. But that's where we're at. The S part right here, basically this part's going to start coming into form here. We'll have the rest of that there. So that's what we're going for. It's currently sitting, this is the way we're building it. So there's the S right here. And we're getting ready to start on that part there. So hopefully that's in the camera view. That's what we're currently doing. Let me mark off this row. That was row 49. So actually, we're almost to a quarter of the way. Seems kind of strange. That's a quarter, but I guess this would be about half. So we'll get the full F and the E in, because another letter could have fit in there. But that's where we're at. I do want to thank everybody for joining us tonight, either watching us live or if you're watching later. It's glad to have all of you. I want to thank everybody that's made purchases over those past. We're coming up on a year. We've had a good year of online selling this year, so I want to thank everybody that's done that. If you're a chain mailer, you just buy chain mail stuff. Either way, it's all great to have anybody here anytime just to hang out. Today's Thursday, so for sure we'll be back on Monday night. We'll be doing Medium Project Monday. But do kind of look out. We could be up on Saturday. I'm thinking I might do a quick stream on Saturday. We'll see how things go, because I definitely want to get some more work on it. So we could stream on Saturday doing a little bit more of this. If not, for sure we'll be back on Monday night. So make sure to check us out on Mondays, Wednesdays, Thursdays, all at 7:30 p.m. Central, on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. Don't forget to give us likes and shares. All that helps with everything we do. But I hope you all have a great night and a great weekend if I don't see you till Monday. Have a great weekend, and we'll see you later. Peace.